Imagine a plane that holds almost 600 people. Imagine a plane with space for showers, shops, and bars. Imagine a plane that could change air travel forever. Right now, that dream is coming true. This is the inside story of a multi-billion-pound gamble. A game of high stakes, high technology, big machines, gigantic buildings. The creation of an airliner bigger, more powerful, more luxurious than anything ever seen. The Airbus A380.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, the 2003 Paris Air Show. It's a beautiful afternoon here at Le Bourget for what is the first day of
the Paris Air Show, France, June 2003. For people who build airliners, it's the most important event of the year. Far away from the sweating crowds and the spinning stunt planes, billion-pound deals are done by sober-suited businessmen. Men like Charles Champion. On his shoulders rests the fate of the company known as Airbus.
What's at stake, I would say, with such a program is basically the future of the company, as such.
Really?
Really.
Two companies dominate the market. On the European side is Airbus, and there's the American giant Boeing. The two have been locked in a deadly battle for over 30 years. Now Airbus want to overshadow Boeing's entire product range and build a machine that will make the legendary 747, the jumbo jet, obsolete. This is John Leahy. He has the tough job of selling 250 planes at £146 million each. And that's just a break even.
Pressure? Of course there's pressure. When you're spending $10.7 billion, of course there's pressure. When you're designing an aircraft that's bigger than any that was ever produced in the history of mankind, of course there's pressure.
The schedule is tight. There's just 20 months before the takeoff of the biggest airliner ever. A year and a half of pressure, stress, sleepless nights.
We are crazy.
The first episode of this amazing challenge follows the race to build the enormous parts for the new machine. Carry them thousands of miles by sea, along rivers and over land, to the factory where they will finally be assembled. There are just 87 weeks until the A380 flies. Broughton, North Wales, November 2003. It's 6:30 a.m. Inside this brand new factory, Simon Shingler and his team are about to venture into the unknown.
I don't want anyone to get complacent. We need to make sure we're concentrating on what we're doing. Else there will be a likelihood we'll bend something or hurt someone. We can't afford for that.
Over the last 5 months, more than 350 engineers have been working day and night, constructing the world's largest airliner wing. "119 feet long, it's been painstakingly built up, lying on its back edge. It looks more like a ship than part of a plane. High-capacity, radio-controlled cranes are used to maneuver the components into position. Today is the day they lift the complete wing free of its supporting framework and get the chance to see the entire enormous structure for the first time.
The whole idea of having you all there is to make sure that you're all concentrating on your one specific station. right, and that's how we're going to ensure that we're going to take this wing out without anyone hurting themselves or without the components getting damaged.
The wing, although longer and heavier than two articulated lorries parked end to end, is made to a tolerance of less than 0.5 millimeter. To damage it now would be a disaster.
Everybody gets very excited, and it's easy to sort of leave one of the attachments in place or part of the tooling, because there's so many attachments around the periphery of the wing. If that happens, then it causes damage when it's being lifted.
Mark Burrows has been on the project for 8 years. Today, he gets a chance to see the fruits of his labor.
Well, it's a big achievement, really, after such a long time of development, conceptual development, bringing everything together. It's a big occasion for everybody.
Lifting 30 tons of aluminium and carbon fibre is not a task to be taken lightly.
When we're lifting this wing out, make sure all the mobile phones are turned off. Right.
Building the world's biggest wing is the latest milestone in the short but eventful history of the company. It all started back in the 60s when Spain, Britain, France and Germany joined forces to compete with the might of Boeing. The first Airbus took off on the 28th of October 1972, and since then the range has expanded dramatically. You can now have an Airbus in many different sizes, from a compact 100-seater right up to the longest commercial airliner flying today, the 380-seat A340-600. The nerve center of the company is in the city of Toulouse in southwestern France. From here, Charles Champion controls nearly £6 billion worth of high-tech investment. If he fails to deliver the plane on time, it could be the end of Airbus. The buck really does stop with him.
Airbus is riding on this, yes, definitely. Building such an aircraft, it's a bit like climbing a mountain. Yeah? You see the mountain in the distance. It looks, high, but not too high. And you start walking, and you got the first level, and then you say, "Whew, this one was hard." And you got the next one. It's even harder. And so you see the summit. It's getting closer, but at the end of the day, there's still a lot to walk and a lot to climb.
This business is not just about building airliners. It's about selling them first. And to do that, Airbus has built this giant showroom. The building contains full-scale demonstrators of each of its planes, and pride of place is the A380. John Leahy's worked for Airbus for 20 years. Now's his biggest challenge, to convince the airlines they should be spending a lot of money on a plane that is yet to fly.
Why would you want to spend $265 million for something like this? Because it'll do something no other airplane in the world can do. And that's bring people 8,000 nautical miles in a level of comfort that's never been provided before.
Although this interior looks good, it's really just a fantasy, a suggestion of what could be done with a plane this big.
How often do you see this? Well, yes, it's an extra large loo, but it's also a shower. And this is something that you don't see in an airplane, and maybe you should.
The A380 will be the first plane to have 2 full-length passenger decks, a unique selling point. And the innovations don't stop there. There's a duty-free shop, a staircase with integrated waterfall that leads up to a spacious lounge area, complete with bar. The purpose of all this is to whet the appetite of people such as Sir Richard Branson, head of Virgin Atlantic.
I know that, the people...
He's agreed to buy 6 planes based on assurances that they'll set new standards in performance and efficiency.
It's incredible, isn't it? Oh, dear. No. There are a lot of challenges when you're building a brand new